Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I've got the You David sweater on, so you know what that means. I'm doing design trends that I don't like. I've done a couple of these videos. I'm gonna link them at the end of this video. So in these videos, this is where I talk about trends that I don't really care for, and you all seem to really love these types of videos. I try not to do them too often just because I don't want my channel to feel really negative all the time. Also, I will just quickly say that this is all my opinion, and I have so much respect for designers and furniture designers and stylists and whatever, people that work in the industry that are always pushing the envelope and trying new things and making changes. That's like part of the fun of design, right? Like you get people that try new things and they really experiment, and I love that. These are just sort of the items and the trends that I sort of see that I don't particularly care for. So if you love them, have at it. Like put it in your house, don't listen to what I have to say. Like take this all with a grain of salt. We're just having a little bit of fun and I'm just sharing my opinion. So let's get started. Okay, so first design trend that I am over, I'm just gonna put it as a category of TikTok DIY. So I'm not actually super into TikTok. I do have an account on TikTok. I don't even know what it is. Let me find out. Okay, so my account is apparently at Nick Talks Design, which is the same as my Instagram. That goes to show how much I use it. Basically, feel free to follow me, but you know, low expectations. Anyway, some of these TikTok DIYs, listen, like I said earlier, I admire people trying new things and experimenting. I'm impressed with people's imagination when it comes to some of these DIYs. Like, I think some of these, in my humble opinion, are a bit of a miss for me, but I admire their gumption in trying something new and getting a little bit creative. That's cool. But let's talk about some ones that are not great, in my opinion, but maybe, yeah. First of all, there is this foam mirror. People are putting this foam, which I think is like a construction foam, to be honest, and they are making foam furniture. They're making foam mirrors, foam coffee tables, you name it, they are plastering this foam on it. So I do see the sentiment of where they're going with these foam mirrors and foam side tables and foam things. I get where they're going. It's maybe a little bit cute. You can paint them, and I guess that's kind of interesting for people and they can have a lot of fun. I think for me, this doesn't scream a really timeless quality piece. I think this sort of feels a little bit disposable. It feels a little bit like you definitely put spray foam on another piece of furniture and called it a day, which that might work for you. And I admire the creativity, but I just think it's a little bit of a miss, if I'm being kind. Another one are these sort of applying tiles to tables and making your own tables. So these tiled coffee tables, I mean, some of them are actually kind of cute. I just think these things are gonna be heavy. I actually attempted to make a coffee table once when I thought I could DIY, and you know, it was fun for a while, but now I just believe that I sort of leave it to the experts. I just can't help but think that this thing is so heavy. Like when you tile something and you grout it, like it's not light. Like this is gonna be a coffee table. I mean, this is going to be a statement piece for your home, and I just don't know if it's something that you're going to be happy with long term. It looks like a lot of work and a lot of mess, and I think it's going to be something that might be fun to get some views on TikTok and probably not great long term in your home. Okay, the second trend that I am over is acrylic furniture. I feel like it had its day and that day is gone, and now, like a zombie, it is back. Acrylic furniture, I feel like, is everywhere, and I don't really care for it. I feel like, I think people think it looks really futuristic and edgy and cool and interesting, and I think at one point it kind of did, and in a really mid-century modern place, even then, I think there are better options that are out there, honestly, personally. I think acrylic furniture just has no presence. It's sort of confusing. It tends to be like a chameleon that's just trying to work in a bunch of different design styles, but instead it doesn't work in any of them for me. I guess maybe the exception being mid-century modern or like a really gaudy glam style, which, as you all know, I don't care for. I think acrylic furniture is trying to look sort of really trendy and really modern and futuristic, and instead to me it actually looks quite dated, and I also think it looks really cheap. I think plastic as a material has a place, but I just don't think it's in a full-on chair. I think if you are going to use plastic as a material, it does serve a purpose. I just don't think it's in this full acrylic, see-through, transparent, you know, table and chair combo that I'm seeing all over the place. It tends to look really dirty all the time. I can't imagine that it's going to be easy to keep clean, because, you know, it's trying to look completely transparent. It's going to show every bit of dust and fingerprint that you have on there. Not my favorite choice. I think there are other choices in more natural finishes or even in different other finishes that I think are going to be better than acrylic. Okay, third trend that I am over. I'm going to hear about this one, and that is pot fillers. I have a feeling I'm alone on this one, but I don't get it. Like, I don't I don't really get it. Now look, like I cook pasta. I like to cook in the kitchen. Like I'm not one of these people that just has a pristine kitchen. I mean, I sort of hide it off camera so you can't see my mess. Even though I love to cook, I just don't feel like a pot filler is a really necessary tool. I feel like this is a trend more than something that is truly really functional. I think it is an expensive addition to your home that, you know, is just another option for plumbing. It's another thing that's going to sort of break up your backsplash. And for what? My guess is what people are going to argue is it's great if you're cooking pasta and you're an Italian grandma and you are just like cooking pasta every night. Okay, maybe. So to me, I also just really don't understand the function. Like, please explain to me in the comments. Okay, so you're trying to fill up a pot full of water to make pasta or something, and your sink is maybe on the island, and you're moving it over and you think, aha, and I'm gonna have a pot filler so that I can put water in the pot on the stove, and that way I don't have to carry it from the sink or wherever over to the stove. Great in theory, but now you've cooked your pasta and you're done, and now what? Well, you still got to move the pot over to the sink in order to pour out the hot water. Like, it doesn't vacuum up the hot water while it's on the stove. So I don't get it. It solves half your problem, but it doesn't solve your whole problem. So what's the point? So basically, you've got these items that kind of break up your backsplash that are kind of expensive because now you're routing plumbing. Instead of over at the sink, you're now routing plumbing over on the other side, which isn't the biggest deal if you're doing a renovation or home construction, but just something to consider. And all for what purpose? So that half the time you have a way to fill up your pot so that you don't have to, you know, move from one section of your kitchen to another. I just don't get it. I don't think it's the most functional thing in the world. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. I feel like it's heavy on the trend and people kind of like the idea of a pot filler. Maybe, I mean, I've never owned one. So maybe there's people in the comments that'll say, no, Nick, I had one installed years ago and I love it. You wouldn't understand because you don't have one. That may be true, but I don't get it. Sorry. Okay, next interior design trend that I am over would be, and I'm gonna say this, it's boucle furniture. I'm just gonna say it. But I'm gonna say this. I think that if you're gonna go with a really subtle boucle option, if you're gonna go something that's just maybe adding a nice bit of texture to your space, that might work. Maybe I shouldn't call this boucle furniture. Maybe I should extend this and just call it like furry furniture, because there just seems like now what started as some like innocent boucle that was nice and subtle and whatever has just morphed into a whole world where everything has been bouclified, and I just feel like everything's getting really hairy and everything's getting really big. I'm looking at UCB2. I was there the other day and there is just this chair there that is just, it looks, I don't even know what it looks like. It looks like a character from some movie. Tell me which one it is. I don't know. What do you think? It kind of looks like the Abominable Snowman from the old Christmas movie, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie. You know what I'm talking about? These things are just like, they're a bit of a monstrosity in your home, to be honest. I think a little bit of subtle boucle can be fine. I do recommend that if you are going to do it, maybe pair it with different materials like wood or concrete or leather. You've got a harder surface or a different surface that's maybe gonna provide a nice contrast. Maybe that could work. I'm just getting a little bit tired of it, especially in these big, large doses. I find these trends, they sort of start simple and innocent enough, and then they just sort of morph into something much bigger, and it sort of starts to take over a whole space. I feel like we're kind of getting to that point with boucle. And so for me, I'm a little bit kind of over this trend and just hoping that it kind of, you know, maybe kind of works in more toned down ways in the future. Okay, next on my list of trends that I am over is dining benches. Okay, so they can be cute. I get it. I know it's a trend, and I get where it's coming from. We're all coming from a place where maybe some people are a little bit bored of just getting a dining set where everything matches, right? We're going for some asymmetry and we're looking to sort of break up that dining space a little bit. And I get that, that makes sense. I think there's ways that you can find chairs maybe that are related or that are kind of a similar color, but just sort of a different shape. I like maybe when you've got the head of the table with maybe some arms and the other ones are armless. That can be kind of cool just to kind of break it up. But the dining bench, oftentimes is not a great option, and here's why. First of all, there is no back or armchair support usually, which I find to be quite frustrating, unless you're maybe against a wall. If you are gonna put it against a wall, I would recommend that, because if you just sort of have it out in the open, it's just really awkward. And I mean, if I get to someone's house and they have a dining bench and the dining bench kind of faces where you don't have your back against the wall, like that is the last chair that I'm gonna take, because I would rather have something with a little bit more back support, something that maybe is gonna be more comfortable for a longer period of time, like sitting at a dinner table. I also don't love that if you do have a larger dining bench, that middle seat, oof, that's gotta be the worst seat in the house, right? Like that is not a comfortable place to be, because now you don't have your own space, you don't have your own chair, it's not really particularly ergonomic, so I don't really like that function of it. I think a dining chair offers a lot more flexibility. It works better for a round or oval table because you can't really do a dining bench with that. And chairs also give you the flexibility of adding or removing chairs depending on if you have more or less guests. With a dining bench, you're sort of locked into that side. size and shape, and you're locked into that amount of people that are gonna be sitting there. I guess for me in the end, I just think a dining bench is oftentimes trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist when it comes to regular chairs. Like again, I think the real problem it's trying to solve is people are just bored with regular chairs. Like it's not actually really functionally a better seating option for a dining table. It's just that people are bored with a dining chair option and so they're looking for different ones. Personally, I just think there's other ways that you can break up the monotony of sort of having the same dining chair for every seat at the table rather than going for a full dining bench. Just my 2 cents. So that's it for me for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my trends that I'm over. I've done a couple of these before. I'll link to the playlist here. You know I'm gonna do a part 4 and I'm gonna be wearing this sweater, but you know it. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing because I talk about this sort of stuff all the time. So thanks, talk to y'all later, bye.